Okay. Okay, folks, as you can tell, this is my first webinar, so thank you so much for your patience. We've got, I think we've got nearly everyone here who RSVP'd, so that's just fantastic. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the question section on the right. If you don't know how to expand your screen, there's a little orange button with an arrow on it, and that will bring it out, and you'll have a question area. So we're here to talk about Google. Just before we do start, I'm just going to quickly start another recording just in case. When Russell asked me about Google, I nearly, swallowed my teeth because I really had been ignoring it, and Facebook was my focus. So when I just thought, well, why not? Let's jump in, because it certainly is something that's growing. And after starting to research, I've realized actually just how important it is that we do get on board with Google. Now, I'm certainly no expert. I'm doing this from more of a newbie point of view, because a lot of people are still new to Google. Yes, we have Gmail accounts, and we have the basic knowledge that it's linked in with YouTube, but as you can see, it's linked in with quite a few different applications. Just want to get another hands up, please, just making sure you can hear me. Yep, thank you, Teresa. Okay, excellent, thanks guys, that's good. So basically, once I started researching, any clear thought of how I was going to present this went out the window, because it is just huge. When Google last made their changes in November, everyone I know started getting a little panicky, because it was certainly going to change how we were ranked and things like that. But after reviewing quite a bit of information, I actually think it's a very positive move. There's a few people out there on the train of thought that thinks Facebook is dead, and others, of course, still think it's fabulous. I think it's up to the individual user. But Google is similar in some ways, but it is certainly very different in the way that that it's not a market to people, it's a market with people. And that's something that came along really strongly, was we don't put things out to people, we engage people, and we create more personable relationships. Now, that's another thing that came across in a few recordings listened to, sorry. Yes, I've actually built some wonderful relationships on Facebook, so I'll be really interested to see how Google goes. So another show of hands for me. Who has not got a Google account? I mean a Google Plus account, someone who hasn't got a Google page. Okay, that's good, thank you. So there's a couple. So generally now, and this is where it can get confusing, and that's why I'm not coming up with a straight line of thought. So we've got a Google email, a Gmail, and generally everything's underpinned. So you'll find that if you've got a YouTube account already, you've been asked to link it in with your Google account, which is also underpinned by your Gmail account. So my screen's going to do fun things during this. What I've found, and it's a lesson to those who haven't found this issue, is be sure of how you log into your Google account. Be sure of the email you want to use, because when it's linked to YouTube, which it will have to be if you want to make comments on YouTube, that is how it stays. You cannot change your email address. And I have done a heck of a lot of searching, again today as well, and you just cannot change your email address once it's linked in with your Google account. Okay, so let's get on with it. So I just wanted to show you an example of what we can do with what we're talking about today. So we can, like Facebook, like Twitter, you can certainly get your information out to people. Google is primarily used for business, the Google Plus as we see it now. So once again, you pick your niche, and most of us here are in the same niche, but there's also other areas that we're involved in. We create our page. We do our usual branding of ourselves. We look to see who we can connect with. We post our information, and then we use further tools like communities, Hangouts, Helpouts, which is a new one as well. And so that we can really use it, as someone said, this is all we need. If you didn't have a website, if you didn't have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, etc., LinkedIn, from what I can understand and what I see from what I've learned, Google, if you really wanted it to be, would be the only thing you used. So it's certainly a new concept. So let's have a look online. I'm going to show you, actually I'll go into another document. I'll show you an example of Wilton. So they've got their site, and so it's very similar to Facebook. They have a cover photo, they have a profile photo, you can follow people, people can follow you, you can post. So when you look at it, it seems to be very user-friendly. You can certainly share, and those of us who have used YouTube and Google before, you can +1 it, so that means that you've liked something. And then you can certainly just see how user-friendly it is. So I'm just zooming through it because we're going to go on to the web in a moment. And then, so this is the section that's underpinning everything, how about us. So let's have a look and see what we can create. So the other thing that it certainly was overwhelming was the amount of ways you can actually get into Google. And so I've just brought up the business page because I thought it would be easier just to have one option. But you can see how Google, who started off as a search engine, who's number 1 and 2, this is going to be rather frustrating, number 1 and 2 ranked, for social media and search engines. Why wouldn't you be involved with them? The other thing that Google is going to help us with is creating our profile as an influencer. Now, on Google, that happens in a way that if you share something or comment on something, Google then looks at you in a different way. So the more you get into Google and into what they call circles, which you could probably equate that in Facebook to groups, within the circles, once you share more, you interact more and engage more, Google looks at you in a very different way and starts ranking you differently. So when you use the search function on Google, you are then ranked easily. And the issue that we all have, we want to be ranked on page 1, actually then becomes redundant. Okay, so I'm going to sign into one that I already have. I was going to create a whole new one, but I think that will cause a bit of an issue. So my name changed, so it comes up as Kate McCarthy. My email is getrealgethealthy@gmail, so I cannot change that with the links, but I can create new Gmail accounts and I can link them through to YouTube, but it's your primary one you can't change. So when you log in, this is what you see. So let's have a look at all. I really haven't made this a very prominent thing, as I mentioned. So there's only 6 circles that I'm involved in. These are the friends, family, acquaintances. You really can segregate and you can explore. The other thing that I've found with Google is not just with the Google Plus, but if you're using Gmail, your search function within this platform really expands your ability to find things. So to set it up, you go to Google Business. I'm going to send out links, and I'll also send out a cheat sheet and the mind map for you after this. So this is where you can change your cover photo. You can change your profile photo. About page, I can go and update my my setup. So let's just say I'm going to do it here now, if I can spell. So please don't hesitate to use that chat function if you're I'm losing my voice, or if you're not sure on something, or if I'm going too fast. And then, so you can see how, like, it's a very simple process. So I suppose I'm really preaching to the converted with regards to how to set up a page. So what we're going to try and do is actually use it for what we want to use it for, which is to get out there with people. Okay, so you can see you can really get a hold of it this way and search this one. I'm going to show you a person, and if you want to write it down, but I'll certainly see if she comes up here. Someone that I found as a really valuable resource, but I'm not searching very well there, her name is Yifat Cohen, and she's called the G1 Go-To Girl, and she's ranked, in the very top numbers of people who use Google. I'm just going to take my screen off for a moment while I bring up the right information for you. Does anyone want to make a comment as to how they're already using Google, those who are already using it? Can you just let me know how you found it, and I'll be able to share that information with everyone. So just type in the chat bar. No, that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to, who's on with us today, and just see if I've got anyone I'm connecting right now with. Let's have a look at you. Let's just go through, and Tim's been very active by the looks of it. Tim, could you give me some feedback as to how you've found Google? I'm going to add you to my circles. And I'm going to say friend because I know you, but you can see how you can choose family, acquaintance, and following. And that's as simple as that was. I'm just going to ask another hands up if you can still hear me, because I'm not getting any feedback in the chat box. Good, thank you. Okay. So really it's a tool that can enhance your business in a way that it can certainly get to people a lot further, because it's not so silo orientated. So let's just have a look at how you become an influencer. And this is the information I got from Yifat. So optimize your Google Plus profile. So that's the first thing, is find your niche, update all your information, and really get the info in there that you want people to see about you. Connecting with the right people, so connecting with the movers and shakers in your industry. And once again, as I said before, once you start sharing and if they share your information, that's when Google starts looking at you in a different way. So building your audience, so making sure you post, just like people do in Twitter and Facebook. And adding value, well, that's where we can add our information. You saw on Tim's page that he had the 5 pillars, and that is certainly something that is great to share. Another thing that it was certainly brought up was joining Hangouts, and the more you join Hangouts, because Hangouts are actually published after they've been created, that is then linked to you as well. So the more you're on Hangouts, the better. And then monetizing. So this was also another comment I came across, and I think you'll find that was more on the influencer side. So the one feature now gives you the chance to really increase your reach. So this means that if someone +1s likes your post, it's now that has the potential to be recommended in the stream of their followers. So we understand that already from our Facebook experience. But someone with a large following, they can actually help increase your exposure. So let's do a post. Okay, I'm just going to go in here and okay. So why aren't we doing a Hangout whilst I'm talking about Google? That's a good question after researching all of this. The other thing about Hangouts is that you can actually have private Hangouts and public Hangouts. So public Hangouts are actually ones that publish straight to YouTube, and then of course you can share. But private Hangouts are ones that you can and have individually. So just say I wanted to talk with Russell. I can actually just do that privately. I can share files, and we can bring other people in. We can change our video. Instead of videoing by Hangout, we can actually change over to text as well. So there's quite a lot of opportunity for being very portable and across many mediums. So let's just post something, and then we can see where we can go with this, and then we'll also look at how we can +1 someone. I'm not going to put a photo, but let's just... So there we go. We're going to go up and see. So I don't know if that'll be picked up by anyone, but if anyone who's on this call wants to go and +1 it so we can see what happens, that would be great. Really, I thought this was going to be bigger than Ben-Hur, but when you actually look at Google, once you create a Gmail account, has anyone not got a Gmail account? Can you put your hand up, please? So we know, yeah, so that's fine. So we knew people didn't have Google, but I haven't tried it, but I have heard you can have a Google account without a Gmail account. It's certainly worth a try, but I think with Gmail it certainly expands your ability to be able to get this happening seamlessly. But it's just a very, what I've found is it is a user-friendly portal, but it just takes some getting used to, like any new program. Another area that you might be interested in, especially because if any of you are creating your own groups or masterminds, the community section is very important. If you want to be able to utilize that, they can be public communities, and you can see, you know, the different niches here. But there's also the ability to have private communities where even when someone searches they can't find it. Just as an offside, the lady I was talking about, Yifat Cohen, she's got a family community, so all their family share photos and information that way, but no one can actually search it and enter that community without being shown the link. So that is something that after creating Google Groups is very good to know, because within those communities you can also run the Hangouts. And I don't know what, I know that next week there's a webinar on YouTube, and I'm not sure how far that's going to go into Hangouts, but that might be another session, because Hangouts can be done not only in this forum, but it can also be done through Facebook, through various apps as well. So I'm going to ask for any questions again. Feel free to just put them in the chat box, which is on the right. So really, it's a very simple process. I was thinking it might take me an hour, but I've kind of zoomed through what I really wanted to show you. I've done the checklist that I have, that I'm going to send you is pretty much what we've been through. It's a tool like most that you have to get to know, but really to harness it is seems to be the most beneficial thing. YouTube has an absolutely an amazing amount of resources on it, and just putting in Google Plus for business is actually more beneficial. It certainly is certainly the way that I found this lady, and you actually find more information about how to use the actual forum. So I wonder if is anyone, shall we actually try and set up a new page, since it's pretty quiet on the question front. So we're just going to do a search. And I just say I'm going to get a page. Now, so then this looks a little similar, doesn't it? And that was, I think, a big comment when things changed was, oh, it's the same as Facebook. But I think the capabilities certainly outweigh Facebook, even though Facebook I find fantastic. So I'm going to do, I'm going to do a local one. It's not going to let me do it because I'm already logged in. I apologise. Let's go back and log me out. It's just a little different because I've got this toolbar in my way, so just bear with me. So if you can see here, you can actually add an account, because of course with Google everything is linked. I couldn't just go in, I think, and well, I can add an account separately. I have got about 4 different Gmail accounts, but we're going to actually see if we can do one that's not linked. So I'm going to create an account. So you can see that by creating an account, I'm not just creating a Google Plus page, I'm actually also creating a Gmail as well. So that's, there we go. I'll give my So this is and there we go. How simple is that to create an account? My computer might just take a moment. Okay, so that's the first page you'll see. So it's going to be a step-by-step process. So let's do this. Let's add a photo. So we can certainly drop some photos in. So you'll may as well just use a different one. Oh, it's too small. Okay, well, we'll just cancel that. Goodness gracious. Why is it when you do this that it happens on a recording? That's because I'm trying to do it at a different process. And there we go. That might actually work now. And if I can bluff my way through this recording, anyone can do a webinar. I really like the capability of Google Plus and the fact that everything you do, well, it's a negative in its own way, but everything you do on any Google Gmail account is there on the internet. But the biggest change and the biggest difference I like about it from, say, Facebook is that any posts that you make, you can actually edit as well. So if you had a typo and someone tells you a couple of weeks later, you can certainly go and update that. So there we go. That's my new email account. Thanks for creating it. So let's go on to Google. And this is where, so really this is slowing down quite a bit, but you can see just how very simple this is. So here we go. What happens when you add someone to a circle? You can share with them and see what they're sharing with you. People you add to circles can use Hangouts with you. They'll be notified and can add you to their own circles, but they'll never see the names of circles you've added them to. And they'll appear on your public profile. So you can actually, by the looks of, change that as well. And all it took was just pressing the button. Like, you don't even have to press an OK. And you can create a new circle. Okay, well that's so that's pretty good. So okay, so I'm just going to take you out of that one, Russ. But so that's as simple. So this is where you can certainly increase your exposure, whether it's online marketing, whether it's one of our network marketing businesses, a local business. And I know that with Facebook you'd have to create a group for each one, where here You've still got the one profile and you just expand out. So I'm going to continue. Things that we love, I haven't really done any of that, but let's just put Jamie Oliver for a moment. Okay, so that just brings that up. Continue. I haven't added many people, so it's going to tell me that I'm not being too friendly yet, which is very fine. That will continue anyway. Okay. I don't know if everyone's in online marketing, but since starting online marketing, my computer technician has told me that my computer needs to be upgraded, and it's telling me that every 5 minutes by the looks of it. So it's just one of the many things you need. Just going to see if it'll bring up the Google map. We'll leave that and see if it's going to bring something up. No, it doesn't. Okay, so we're starting to populate slowly. So it's always, by the looks of it, it's also, yes, my computer is overloaded, I know that. It's going to always bring up things that will help expand your profile. And I think that that's actually good, because we're so overloaded with information that sometimes we get so focused on one tangent that it's a good way to help us expand. Just quickly, we can go in and put something on and keep going. Now, so up here, up on the top right, you can see my profile picture where we can log in, change accounts, log out. I can see any notifications that have come through. If I want to share something very quickly, and so here we go. I'm going to make that public, but you can see how you can certainly target into circles. I'm not going to add a photo, but I am going to, let's have a link. Let's put that in. There we go. It's thinking, it's accepted it, that's rather lovely. And we'll share. Okay. So I think I'm going to wind it up a little bit. I really would love to get some feedback from anyone as to what questions they have. Is there anything that you think I need to talk about or that you want to know about? Please use the chat bar. Or if you did want to talk, I can put your microphone on. Not at the moment. Okay, well, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. It's certainly one of those things that is not going to go away fast. Google has been around and started, simply by connecting people with its Google search platform. And I certainly think that Google is going to be with us for a very long time, and to not be using Google Plus, I feel I've been missing out, certainly, and I will be utilising it much more in the future. and it certainly is a way to get your business out there on the web and to be found easily as well. So I will send out by email the recording, but I'll also send out the cheat sheet and that mind map, which I certainly found helpful, but seeing what the capabilities were.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah?
Yeah, check your questions. People have been posting in the question area, not the chat.
Oh, okay.
So check your question area there.
Sorry, folks. There we go. Let's have a look.
And I think one of the other things to point out, also is when you're making those circles, you can make your own circles also. Because like a lot of you guys into the MTTB student circles and also marketing circles. So you can use different circles.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's just so easy to use. Oh, there are a lot of questions there. I apologize, folks. It's a little hard to read these because it doesn't let you expand.
In order to read them, just click on the question itself, Kate, and that'll expand it in the window below.
Okay, well, Tim, thanks, still learning, but find one or two people flood. Yes, that's the only thing. There are a few comments when I was researching saying, oh, it's not used quite like that like Facebook is used where people flood you with info, but I do think certain people certainly use it very well. Do I say well? That they certainly use it. 150 posts in January alone. That's huge. Tim, that's massive. Okay, thanks, Teresa. I'm just reading through questions, so I won't be a moment. Can you have several businesses on the same account? Rod, let's just have a look. I would, because that's actually what I was wanting to do as well. But initially I was looking at it via Gmail account and segregating them, but since looking at what this is capable of, I actually would think that you should be able to, you can add, I'm just reducing my screen, that you can add different employment. As you can see, you can put a second one in here. And then, Rod, what I was thinking is the way to harness that would be, then you would create your circles. So you saw how I put a coaching one in. You would then create a circle and then start sharing that. But your YouTube, for example, though, if you're going to be posting videos, your YouTube is attached to this account. So then you would just segregate those shares into the circles. Does that make sense? Okay, thanks for all your comments there. Can they reject you? You just don't have to accept. I know that I haven't accepted some. You can actually block someone and then unblock them as well, I understand. I haven't had to do that because I haven't used it properly. But certainly someone can come, if you don't like someone's comments, or if they are flooding you, there is that capability. So yes, that's same as Facebook in that way. For business, what's the difference between friends and acquaintances? It's up to you, really. It's how do you and so that question, Tim, it's how you really want to set your circles up is how I work that. That's also how you can create new circles. You don't have to use what they've currently put there. You can actually use your own circles. It might be business, it might be MOBE, it might be mastermind. And you may not even have anyone in friends and acquaintances. That certainly doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means that they're not being engaged in that particular way. I hope that answers your question. Jen, we might do a Hangout one again because I would like to have a look at doing it just through the general Hangout way mode, but also through the Facebook app. So I'll do a webinar on Hangouts itself. Okay. So Anne-Marie, I'm looking at your question now. Could you put your Mobe affiliate link in? I'm assuming that's a general one. I don't see why not. You're promoting your business and putting in a description about it, and I would, but I'm just wondering where you're meaning, where would you want to put that in? Actually, Anne-Marie, I'm going to try something here. Have you got, I'm going to take your microphone off. Can you let me know what you mean about where you would put your Mobe link, please? So you now have microphone.
Can you hear me, Kate?
I can, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you were going to put your Mobe affiliate code in, where would be the best place to actually put it? So would you put it like in this section you are now, or on your front page, or where do you think would be best to put that?
Okay.
Or would you put it in maybe your posts, you know, would you do a couple of different posts with your code in there?
I would be doing the post, but I'd also, yeah, as a, maybe not as a, here, you know, have this, but certainly as an introduction as to what you do. Your tagline is certainly an area if you did want to. I know people use it in Facebook that way, people use it in Skype that way. Your introduction, your story. So with your about, so let's have a look at our profile. It's not going to come up quickly for me to... Why isn't it coming up? Okay, well, we'll just go in here. So it's up to you. It's how you want to brand yourself. Are you just going to have Mobe as the one that you want to be promoting, or are you going to have other businesses as well, which was a previous question. So you could put that down as occupation, but as you said, post would be one way that I would certainly do it. Another one I would be probably looking at is in the introduction.
Okay, yep.
That would be how I do it, but it's certainly something that's evolving in my, like the way I'm looking at doing it. Can you see the links that that's on the screen now?
Yeah.
That's another area because it's a link. You're not promoting it, you're recommending it, and it's up to people to press on it. So that's another not in your face way of doing it.
Oh, okay, so add it to the links.
That's it. I think you can see, you're branding yourself, so you can put that wherever you like, but I'm thinking that's sitting there and that will always be there. So, and it says here, as you can see, what pages interest you.
Yep.
And I think another way of doing it to not make it look like it's an outright affiliate link is using a link cloaker, because once again, you're branding yourself. So if you do have a WordPress site, you could certainly utilize it that way. So for example, I've got a couple, but kateLmccarthy.com is mine. And so I would just use kateLmccarthy.com/Mobe, or, you know, as something that will draw people's attention in. And that's where you would put your affiliate link. So it's not an obvious affiliate link, but it's a link. It's got, it pretty, as the word pretty link says, it's one of the link cloakers. It just makes it look neater and more appealing to press on. And it looks like it's on your website.
Okay, yep, sounds good.
I think, I'm not sure if I've done it, but I will be doing it, doing a video on pretty link, the link cloaking. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Kate,
That's okay.
where I would...
Your mic off again.
Kate, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Where I would put other links, like if you have your websites, blog pages, things like that, is go to that links section there and hit edit, and then just put it in other profiles. Is where, see how you can
add in other profiles rather. Okay, yeah. That's a good idea.
That's one of the places, because that then is when they're talking about links, I think the links would be more of other things maybe you're following or other pages you want them to go to, but profiles, because in my profiles I have my Facebook fan page. Obviously, you know, the YouTube is already pre-connected to it, but I'm going in and adding in my blog page and so on. So you would just put your title of what the link is for, and then just put your link there.
Okay, so yeah, so this is where we put it here. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm just going to duck back to the questions. Okay, well, I think I've been through all the questions. If you do have any more, quickly put them in now. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up, and I'll be able to forward you a link to this, but also to those resources that I mentioned. There is so much more we could go through in here. I do find it to be really quite organic, though. Once you start one thing, it leads to another. And especially if Google's going to remind you about certain things as well. Okay, there's no more questions coming in. Well, I want to thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. You've been very supportive in my first webinar, and thank you to Russell for giving me the opportunity. And I will talk to you all very much very soon. Okay, well, there ends the webinar.